Hello, my name is Emily Allman, and today I want you to imagine something for a moment. So picture yourself sitting in a tree stand on a beautiful fall day. The air is cool, the woods are alive with sounds, and you're confident that before the day over, a deer is going to walk out. So that confidence doesn't come from luck. It comes from knowing that that work you put in before the season is going to pay off. Preparation is something that everyone has experienced at some point in their life or will experience someday. So maybe you studied hard for an exam and felt ready whenever the day came to take it. Maybe you practiced with your team and saw that work pay off in a game. Or maybe you just worked toward a personal goal and finally reached it. But whatever the situation is, we've all either seen or will eventually see how that preparation leads to success. So for me, that lesson has been made clear through hunting. I grew up hunting in my backyard, so I know firsthand how much work that takes. So I've dished the field, planted seed, dumped out corn, and tracked deer with my trail cameras. And I've also seen how that effort has paid off in the end. So that's the same lesson that's taught in the Aesop fable, The Ants and the Grasshopper. The work you put in today brings a reward tomorrow. So just like the ants in the story, hunters who prepare today will be rewarded when the season comes. So today I want to share with you two stories about preparation. First, I'll explain the moral of the ants and the grasshopper, and then I'll share personally how I noticed that hunting preparation is worth all that effort. So let's start with the Aesop fable. In the story, the ants spend the entire summer gathering food day after day, making sure that they'll be ready whenever winter comes. On the other hand, the grasshopper didn't prepare at all, and he just spends his time singing, playing, and enjoying the moment without giving a second thought about the future. When winter finally came, the ants had plenty of food stored, they were safe, provided for, and ready for the challenges that come with the cold weather. However, the grasshopper had nothing. He hadn't worked, hadn't prepared, and now he had to face the consequences. The moral of this story is simple, that if you work and prepare today, you'll be rewarded tomorrow. The ants show us how that effort leads to success, and on the other hand, the grasshopper teaches us how laziness only leads to regret. With that lesson in mind, let's look at how this connects to hunting. Hunting isn't just about sitting in a stand with a deer, waiting for a deer to walk by. Just like the ants had to work during the summer, hunters have to put in the work before deer season comes. So that preparation starts with the land itself. A field has to be disked in order to plant seed, and hunters also provide food like corn to try and keep deer coming back and bring them to their land. It doesn't stop there though. These things have to be done consistently during the off season, not just once. And a lot of hunters also use trail cameras, like I also use trail cameras. This helps us learn how the deer are moving, what paths they take, and when they're coming. And that information can really make all the difference whenever the season finally arrives. So just like the ants had to give up their summer fun to gather food, hunters make sacrifices too. They take up a lot of time, energy, and even money. And most of the costs come out of the hunter's own pocket, like paying for seed, corn, equipment, and the cameras. It may feel like a lot of work for something that you won't see results for right away, but just like the ants, the hunters who put in that extra effort will be rewarded. When the season finally comes, that preparation, you can see how well that pays off. And the deer show up because the food that was planted and the trail cameras helped you realize when the deer were going to be there. And the hours of hard work finally turn into success. So in the same way the ants had food when the winter came, hunters who prepare ahead of time see results during deer season. And I know this personally because my first buck was I tracked it. I had planted the field, put out corn, and one day I noticed at what time the deer was going to come out, and I that's how I got my first buck, and that's something I'll never forget. So today I shared two examples of how preparation pays off, a lesson from the ants and the grasshopper, and the way that hunting reflects that same truth. Both show us the importance of putting in work before the reward arrives. So I'll leave you with this thought. In life, we all face the choice between being the ant or being the grasshopper. We can prepare to be ready for challenges, or we can avoid the work and regret it later. Whether it's hunting, school, sports, or just life in general, preparation is what makes the difference. Thank you, and are there any questions?